Hello, children, and welcome to Story Time by the Fish Tank with Grandma. Today's story is The Emperor's Nightingale. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese emperor who lived in the most magnificent palace in the world. His gardens, in which most beautiful flowers bloomed, were enchanted and magical. There was a nightingale who had made a nest on one of the branches of the flowering tree. The bird's song was so glorious that everyone around stopped working just to listen to it. Visitors from every land flocked to the imperial city and were all amazed by the palace and the gardens. But when they heard the nightingale, they cried out for joy, "What a wonderful sound!" Each told the other how delightful the bird's song was, until the news even reached the ears of the emperor himself. The emperor flew into a rage. "Who does this nightingale think he is?" demanded the old ruler angrily. "I do not know him. He is one of my subjects. He lives in my garden, and I have never heard him. Bring him to me and let him sing to me in person." And he sent a servant to find the nightingale in its nest. Special preparations were made at the palace to receive the famous singer. The walls and floors gleamed in the light of 100,000 golden lanterns. In the middle of the great hall in which the emperor received visitors, a golden twig had been placed on which the nightingale was to perch. All eyes were fixed upon the little gray bird, who sang so divinely that tears came to the emperor's eyes. As the tears ran down the cheeks of the old man, the song of the nightingale grew sweeter and sweeter. His voice touched everyone's heart, and he became a star. The whole town talked about the magical bird that had become the jewel of the kingdom. Then one day, the emperor received a large parcel containing a mechanical nightingale. It was designed to imitate a real nightingale and was covered in diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. It was so beautiful, and like the other nightingale, sang so well that everyone wanted to hear the two nightingales sing in concert. So they were made to sing together, but the duet sounded quite wrong, because the real nightingale sang from a natural inspiration, while the other followed its mechanical movement. So the artificial bird was made to sing alone. It was as popular as the real bird, and is far more pleasing to the eye because it sparkled with precious jewels. It sang the same passage 33 times over without becoming the least bit tired, and so pleased the crowd that they chased the real nightingale away. The real nightingale was banished from the city and the empire, and the artificial bird took the seat of honor on a little lacquered table next to the emperor's bed. But one evening, when the mechanical bird was singing his heart out and the emperor was listening enraptured from his bed, there was suddenly a crack from inside the bird's body, then a all the gear wheels jammed, and the music stopped abruptly. The wonderful mechanism had rusted. The mechanical bird would never sing again. 5 years later, the country was plunged into the deepest gloom. The Chinese had greatly loved their emperor, but he had fallen ill, and it is said that he is about to die. A new emperor had already been elected, and all the people had assembled in the great square to welcome him. The old emperor lay pale and cold in his bed. He found it so hard to breathe. He felt as if people were tramping on his chest. As he opened his eyes, he saw death. It had come to fetch him. The emperor was very frightened at the thought that his last hour had come. Then suddenly, from the window, a delightful song was heard. It was the little nightingale from the forest who sat trilling on the branch. It had learned of the emperor's illness, had come to cheer him up and to bring him hope. The little nightingale sang so beautifully and so sweetly that the emperor's terrible visions of death disappeared, and as if by magic the old man was cured and regained his strength immediately. Thank you, heavenly little bird," he exclaimed. "I once chased you away, and yet your singing has chased away the evil spirits. How can I reward you?" "You already have rewarded me," sang the nightingale. "It brought tears to your eyes the first time I sang. For me, those are the diamonds that I shall never forget them. Let me come and visit you whenever I can. I shall sing to you of the joyful and the sad, about the good and the evil, about all things you know nothing about, because a little bird flies everywhere and sees everything. Only promise me one thing. Do not tell anyone that you have a little bird who tells you everything. Believe me, it's for the best." And the little nightingale flew off. A moment later, the couriers and servants entered the room to see the dying emperor for the last time. They were astonished when the emperor sat up and wished them a hearty good day. And so ends our story of the little nightingale from my treasury of fairy tales. Come back again soon, and we'll have another one. In the meantime, dream on.